Participants thus far, I think we can formally get started. So again, welcome to our Small Business Friday forums. Thank you to the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County for championing this endeavor. The purpose of the Small Business Friday forums is to help us to get good qualified advice for how to deal with our current community, state and national situation, the health crisis that we're dealing with in managing our small businesses, and further being able to plan for the future for an inevitable time when this crisis will subside, because America will be getting back to work out there in the world instead of in our homes. We look forward to that day. Joining us today is Dr. Kate E. O'Hara, Ph.D. She's an instructional designer working for Rockland Teachers Center, and she's going to be saying a few words about helping to stay engaged and keeping your customers and clients even throughout this crisis. Our agenda today is fairly simple. We're just doing quick introductions here. Dr. O'Hara will be speaking for a little bit. And then, as we did last week, we're going to have an open discussion, question and answer session. And as best as possible, we're going to try and guide you to some resources that might be beneficial as you're working through your new business environment. As an example, on the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County's website, here, there are a variety of wonderful resources. First, on the government, the Small Business Disaster Loan Assistance Program for small businesses, as well as an updated news feed that indicates all of the different pieces of information that we've collected over the course of the last several weeks, and we're updating this regularly. Both for keeping healthy and safe, but also for being able to keep the workforce maintained. So we'll be covering that later on. And then later on, we'll set a meeting date for next Friday. It will likely be around the same time at 12:30 in the afternoon on Fridays. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce again Dr. O'Hara. As I mentioned, she's an instructional designer working with educators, professional trainers, and leaders in both profit and not-for-profit organizations. And she guides them in the development of technology-integrated practices and the application of strategies that foster engagement. In short, being able to get the work done more efficiently using technology and coming up with the right strategy that continually allows us to communicate with our customers and clients. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to you, Dr. O'Hara, and please let me know when you want me to move the slides around or anything to that level.
Okay, good. All right. Thank you, Tom, and hello, everybody, on this beautiful day. As Tom said, I am an instructional designer, and that was a mouthful. The long and short of it is that I'm here to hopefully help you stay connected with your customers and clients. And we are all working from home. As you can hear, I have dogs in the background barking. They must wait till I go onto Zoom to do that. So if you would, Tom, just the next slide are just some speaking points. So I'm going to be with you this morning just for about 15 minutes, kind of give you an overview of hopefully what I can provide. And then we're going to end with Tom sharing a link to a feedback form. So I can't really effectively support you until I kind of know what your goals are. So you'll see on the slide right there, keeping the connection with customers and clients. So we are obviously in an unprecedented time here. And so we have to kind of navigate new ways to stay connected. And so the number one way is communication. And that goes if we are in a face-to-face environment, and now we're going to be in a remote or a distance environment. And so that's going to look different for for all of you based on the business that you're involved in. And so I want you to just kind of think about how do you communicate usually? How are you usually connected to your customers or your clients? And then give it some thought. Now that things have changed considerably, what are your goals right now, right? Because we really are in triage mode. Is it to retain customers? Or maybe you're in a business where you could modify your services remotely. Maybe that's a possibility. And then I want to talk about a little bit about giving back. So retaining customers. So again, we'll go back to that idea of communication. What are ways that you can communicate through the use of technology that may be more impactful than what you're doing now? You know, maybe you're staying in touch in a print, you know, with text or hard copy print, but maybe you want to, during this period of time, which will hopefully be short, make a transition to doing something more digital. So think about that. Also, are you providing some sort of service or product in which you could communicate in a way that your customers or clients could get a modified version? For example, what's kind of popping into my head right now is I work with some personal trainers, you know, just simple things, designing brochures or websites. So that would be also Tom's expertise. And so now people cannot go and meet with them in person, but is there a way that they can modify? Can they stream exercises and classes remotely to their clients? So think about ways, would it be possible to be able to modify the service or the product that you provide? And then lastly, you know, for businesses, it's about marketing and visibility. So right now, if it's possible, and everybody has not only you know, professional and economic pressures, but we have the reality of daily life with families and so on. But is there an opportunity that you could give back to the community? And of course, we want to do that with a loving and giving heart, but maybe the reality too is to keep some visibility for your company. You know, so start thinking of ways that you could give back. And in a lot of ways, I'm sure you've already seen it. You know, restaurants maybe give food to first responders, or maybe you're in a business that you could offer a service free of charge to somebody. So kind of put that on your radar and think about those. So really, those are the three speaking points that I wanted to go over with you today. What were your goals? So think about your goals, and then also, you know, you're going to tie them continually back to that communication, right? And then the piece that I can help you bridge is what kind of technology might help you achieve that. Okay. So Tom, I guess, can you share how are you getting the link, or is it in like the chat of the Zoom, or are you going to email to people?
Have it. Actually, you know what? I apologize. I think you put it in the Word document, right? So
It's actually a Google. It's a form. Hang on just a sec. You know what? I could just read out the questions. That's not a.
You know what I'll do is I'm gonna hang on one moment. I'm gonna
Hang on, just
mute my my video for a moment, and then I'll go grab that.
Here, actually, you know what? I don't think you don't even. So Tom is going to share a link, a little URL to a short form. And all I'm going to ask you is, what type of business do you own or operate? And then, are you currently connected remotely with your customers? And then the idea was that next Friday, for about 45 minutes, I would go over 2 tools that may help you be able to keep that connection or foster that relationship with customers and clients. And so you have a couple of choices. I'm going to ask you to select two that you feel like you'd be interested in learning more about. So one was video conferencing. One is recording video content. So you would be able to record, whatever that looks like in your business. Maybe it's you yourself speaking, or maybe it's colleagues, whatever that is. Website creation, maybe surveys and feedback forms, also QR codes. Okay, so just wanted to share those things. And again, thank you so much for having me. I'm actually heading out to another meeting, but I look forward to working with everybody and sharing some stuff next Friday.
Okay, great. Thank you, Dr. O'Hara. And I will have that survey and feedback form momentarily. What I'll do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment, and then I will head into my email, grab the link, and then I will be back in a moment. So you guys can just bear with me momentarily, and I will put that both in the chat as well as on the PowerPoint presentation that I'll be sending out to everybody. So just one moment, please. I wish I had some of that Jeopardy music in the background.
Someone could sing it. All right, I am signing off. Thank you all. Look forward to touching base next Friday.
Thank you very much, Dr. O'Hara. While I'm looking for this, I'd like to introduce Stephanie Melowski. She's the head of the North Rockland Chamber of Commerce, one of the board members. So Stephanie, would you like to say a few words, say hello to everyone? What's going on your end?
Sure, Tom. Yeah, take your time, when you looking for the resources for us. And for everyone here, hello, thank you for joining. I think it's what's going on, most importantly is to stay safe and healthy. And, I've been in this North Rockland community and for going on 6 years. So when I moved over here, one of the first things I did was join the North Rockland Chamber and other various organizations throughout the county. And I think now more than ever, we can see the importance of these organizations because, it's staying informed and being up to date on what's going on is more important now than ever because, I think we're all just, kind of lost and just trying to figure out what's going on and it's important to realize that, we are all in this together and, we're all just figuring it out. For those that, those are here that don't know me, I am a banker. I work for a small community bank here in Rockland. It's called PCSB Bank. And up until yesterday, I was working in the office because banks are essential employees. But given I do the small business lending on behalf of the bank, yesterday we were told to work from home because, of health and safety concerns for the employees. So the floors are not open to the general public. The drive-throughs are open and the floor is open by appointment only. So everybody still has access to their money, but we just have to exercise the utmost precautions. That being said, switching back to Hat as being part of the board for the North Rockland Chamber, again, now more than ever, I see the importance of these organizations and these roles in supporting the business community. There's just so much going on and so much work to do that, it's a little overwhelming, but, I think as a community, we can all pool together. And if everybody does even a little bit, it'll make this, it'll help us get through this crisis a little bit easier as far as on the business end, because certain industries are affected more than others, but so we all have to do our part and contribute where we can. So I'm sorry, I'm rambling a little bit, but Tom, cut me off whenever.
Oh, that's okay. That's perfectly all right. I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I apologize. And you
No.
saved my tuchus because I did find that form. So thank you for finding that for me, for hopping in on that. So I do have the link to the survey form. And Stephanie, I appreciate, we've been working together for about 2 or 3 years now. And I'm no longer on the chamber board, but there's a really good team in place. And Stephanie's part of that team where Chamber's going to be doing some really good things over the course of the next 5 years. So stay tuned for that. And there's several other chambers in Rockland County that have been participating significantly in the effort to try and bring back small business once this crisis is over. There's a group called the Chamber Alliance of Rockland, and it's a consortium of several different chambers of commerce in Rockland County. The North Rockland Chamber is part of it, Nyack Chamber, Nanuet Chamber, Suffern Chamber, Pearl River, if I didn't mention it before. So it's a good consortium of chambers, and they get together to put together larger events where people can network with each other. Now, obviously, that's on hiatus now, but once we're able to get back into the community, we'll be able to see a lot of those events happening, 3-6 months down the road, whenever it happens logically. But Stephanie, thank you again for all the help that you provided and the resources. Also wanted to say hello to Deborah Thomas from the Workforce Development Board of Rockland County. Deborah, are you with us?
I am. I'm here. How are
Great.
you? How are you
Okay.
today? I'm here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say congratulations for launching this project today. I think it was Dr. Eric that really planted the seed last week when he was talking about, reaching out to his clients and helping us to think through what can we do to support the business community. As director of the Rockland Teachers Center and the Workforce Development Board, we're working with our educators, but we're also working with our business leaders that are calling us and our employees that are being laid off. So we're communicating with the national level, finding out what's coming on with the national resources with the Department of Labor, and we're working with our state colleagues, finding out what's going on in New York State. So we're trying to be a conduit back. We're using our website that Tom pointed out, rocklandworks.org, to be a location where our business leaders and our community can go to turn for those resources, to find out what they can do to access the resources that are coming in from the federal government or coming down from the state. So everybody has been overwhelmed. I mean, one thing that we found out from the workforce side is that the government was woefully unprepared to work in a virtual environment. If you know anyone who is in need of unemployment insurance, they have to do it virtually. They need to go online, but tell them they have to go on the day that they're assigned by their last name. And the best time is to go 5:30 or later at night because the website is crashing with so many people trying to get on board. Use and utilize the resources that are on the Rockland Work side and have patience. And there is a call-in number for us locally that I'm going to share, and you can share it with folks that you need to help as well. The number is 845-406-6448. 845-406-6448. We'll put that up for you. So it's a local call center, and someone will return your call. It will take time, but if you cannot navigate the website and you're having trouble, that is a local call center, and folks will be calling from home remotely. So that's the support that you can get. We're here for you. My number is out there. You can call me. You'll see it on the website, and I'll try to direct you as best I can, but we're trying to post the information that we get as it comes every single day. So thank you, Tom, for having this forum where we can get information out to our community. Tom serves on the Workforce Development Board. He's a tremendous advocate for the business community, and thank you for allowing us to share this information back out.
Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate your hard work and diligence. And I've only known Debbie for maybe about 3 years, maybe 4 years, but from the moment I met her, just she's kind of like me, like a workaholic. You know, we just love what we do and always trying to give back, you know, God willing, and just keep it going. So this is a perfect time for Dr. Thomas to shine, and hopefully we can follow in her footsteps.
Thank you.
So I'd like to open it up to the participants. We have a total of 9 participants. I see we have Dr. Eric Goldman and several other people. So if anybody would like to bring up a topic of concern that they're dealing with, last week we had a conversation about especially businesses that involve in-person services, and Dr. Goldman is a wellness practitioner and chiropractor in the area. So that was a point of concern that we discussed for a bit of time. But if anybody else wanted to bring something up that they wanted to have as a discussion, and we could also provide resources for next week when we have this conversation again, please note that you would have to unmute your mic in order for, it's a little hard for me to, let's see if I can grab it via chat. Does anybody want to hop in and talk about a particular topic? I have something that I wanted to bring up, but I wanted to really leave it for you guys to first start off and initiate the discussion. And reminder, your microphone is muted, so you would have to unmute your microphone in order to say something. Okay, I'm gonna leave the chat open. So if you wanted to hop in, I will unmute your mic if I see it on the chat saying that you wanted to discuss something. In the meantime, I wanted to bring up a very important thing to note about disaster loan assistance through the Small Business Administration. So we have several different networking groups that we participate in, and one of them notably has an accountant that we work with for the last 3 or 4 years. So she's very tied in to the SBA's disaster loan assistance program. And she noted that you can apply online to get a business loan. But there's some details that you should be knowledgeable about before you go into this. And by the way, and I'm not endorsing any one accountant, so I'm just going to say this might require that you contact your accountant or a local accountant that can assist you with this. But the most important thing to note is effective, I believe it was Monday, you cannot simply go to the SBA disaster loan application and fill out all the forms online. You cannot do that anymore. You have to download the forms. You have to directly download all the individual forms and fill them out. And it's, fairly easy, but you're doing that on your computer, not on the website. You have to fill out everything in its entirety and then re-upload the business forms onto the website. And it looks like they're using an outside service for that. They're using something called box.com, which we're familiar with. So, I'm sure it's secure and everything like that. We're all recommending that if you think that you're going to need disaster loan assistance over the course of the next several months or the next year, because you sense that there's going to be a downtick in business, most certainly get on this site ASAP, download the forms, fill in the information. And if you're running into any sort of trouble, and again, I am not endorsing any one accountant in this endeavor because that wouldn't be fair. Contact an accountant that you feel is qualified to be able to handle this, and they will guide you through the process. But you want to get this form in as soon as possible. Just as an example, I'm not trying to be downtrodden, but I mean, just a good indicator of where things might be going is we had a huge jump in unemployment claims over the last week, 3 million. It's astronomical. You think of that as an indicator of how the economy is going to be dinged at very least, and certainly organizations like the Small Business Administration, different divisions, they're going to be overwhelmed with requests. So certainly make sure that you get to this information sooner rather than later. Don't put it on the back burner if you think that it's going to be helpful. The other thing to note is that depending upon the size of your business, you may or may not need to put down collateral. In other words, your assets as a guarantee on the loan. If you perceive that you're going to need over $25,000 in disaster loan assistance, you will have to put down some sort of collateral or prove that you have collateral to cover the loan, just in case something doesn't go the way that you anticipate in your plans. If it's under $25,000, you do not have to, at least at the current time, you do not have to put down any collateral. Further, if you can show that you are using the monies specifically for paying your employees, keeping them on the payroll, paying your utilities, keeping the lights on, or paying for the essential services that keep your business open, it's being said that the loan will eventually convert into a grant that you do not have to pay back. Now, before you employ this step and you contact the Small Business Administration for any size loan, make sure that the monies are being put to use in the right place, and make sure that you can handle the size of that loan. And I'm just going to go back, 10 years in our business. I hate to use this kind of like old term, but we kind of bootstrapped ourselves. We didn't apply for any loans or anything to grow our business, and we grew slower, but we grew. You may have a different type of situation in your business where you know that you're going to need something to subsidize you over the course of the next few months or the next year. So you certainly want to make that decision on your own. And again, we have some great resources to help you to make that decision. Certainly speak with an accountant if you feel that it's going to be useful. I'm just checking the chat. So I'm not seeing anyone indicating that they want to discuss anything specifically on chat.
I do,
So,
Tom.
Yes, go ahead.
I would just also like to mention that the Rockland Community Foundation has just put out a community crisis grant called COVID-19. It's out and it's available. So if you know of any nonprofit that's out there that needs some additional resources, or they're working on something related to what's going on in our community, they should check that out right now. They're offering those grants. They're up and live right now. So again, it's the Rockland Community Foundation Community Crisis Grant. It's on Facebook. It's on the website, and they're very easy to write. And we're encouraging individuals to access these resources now. Thank you.
What I'll do is I'm going to add that to the PowerPoint as a link. All right, so rocklandgives.org. Add that, and I'll put that out as a PDF on Rockland Workforce Development site. Okay, great. Thank you, Debbie. Okay, so it's 1 o'clock. Just a few other quick things. I added into this, and it's a 5-page PowerPoint presentation at the moment. That's going to grow over the course of time. We're going to use this as the document that we continually update. So how businesses are adjusting during this time. There was the mandate that non-essential businesses have to reduce their workforce by 100% by last Sunday. And I think largely in Rockland, we've been able to accomplish that. Something I need to note, there was a rumor that was going around Rockland County that essential businesses have to close by 8 o'clock after this particular deadline. That is not the case. I had to communicate with several different town supervisors that they had to clarify this. If you're an essential business, you still do not have to close your doors. And for instance, the most prevalent example is restaurants. As long as they convert to 100% either curbside or delivery services, no sit-down restaurant services, they can indeed stay open. Other advice for businesses to keep their doors open: staggering your appointments and keeping very, very low employee density, postponing your appointments and switching them to remote. All of the clients that we've had over the last 2 weeks, we've been able to switch over to Zoom or GoToMeeting, remote conversations. And, luckily we're kind of in place for that sort of thing to begin with. It's a little tougher for a retail store, but that can be accomplished in conjunction with, let's say, for instance, if you're delivering or shipping the items to the customer, along with phone and remote conversations, in conjunction with your website or whatever other services you already have put together. Providing gift cards or other online services at a reduced price. Last week we had someone in this presentation, and she mentioned that she was giving gift cards at half price in anticipation of the time after the crisis subsides for in-person services. Definitely stay up to date on recent developments, United States and also New York State. Politics aside, I do feel that our governor is doing a good job at least providing that guiding voice and giving us the vital information that we need at this particular time, and staying connected with each other. And to close out, I also added this slide at the very last minute before we finish this. A lot of you are probably waking up in the morning and feeling a bit of, let's say, a malaise. We are creatures of habit. Always remember that. We get up, if we have it in our mind that we have to, take a shower at 7 o'clock in the morning, get the kids ready for school by 7:15, be on the road by 7:30 to head into the city to be there by 9 o'clock. That whole routine has completely been upended. So what I would suggest is to, first of all, act as if you're leaving. Get up at the same time in the morning, all right? And it's tough. I mean, the onus has been removed, so we don't have to push the alarm clock snooze button at 6 o'clock and wake up at 6:30. Act as if everything, at least before you walk to the door and walk out, act as if everything is exactly the same. Take a shower, shave, dress up a little bit. Even in the remote meetings, you could probably wear shorts, but dress up a little bit. This has been difficult for me. The second point is maintaining a healthy diet and an exercise routine. I can't even begin to tell you how tough it was to get on my Bowflex over the last week and a half, 2 weeks. Let's say I've reduced my workouts by like 60%, but this weekend I'm going to catch up. And next week, the plan is to get back to absolutely normal in terms of getting the workouts done. And remember, you don't have to go to the gym in order to exercise. You can turn on your TV, and if you have an Amazon Fire Stick or some sort of streaming device, there are plenty of routines that you can do right from the comfort of your home. Stretch with yoga. Maintaining a healthy diet is also very important. It's it's tempting to just raid the refrigerator at any given time. So try to follow a little bit of a stricter regimen as you're going through these next few weeks. As Dr. O'Hara mentioned, and we're all indicating, keep in contact with your customers and your clients. If you're building a new marketing plan, start with the customers and clients that you've served over the years, and maybe give them a quick phone call. I happen to notice that the phone is coming back a little bit over the last few weeks because people need that sort of connection. This is the perfect time for you to reach out to your customers and clients because they're stuck at home too. And if you call them up, you're showing them that you care. As best as possible, don't think about getting some instant business from the person. Just keep the relationship going because over the course of time, I imagine that they'll appreciate it. Also, and this is a little tougher because every business model is different, try to move all your physical systems to web-based and automated systems. And that way you can work from anywhere. As an example, one of my favorite tools, in addition to Zoom right now, is this. It's called Grasshopper, and it allows us to make phone calls, send text messages, and generally keep in touch one-on-one with our clients, you know, anytime that we need, directly from our computers instead of making phone calls. We don't benefit from this, but Grasshopper is literally $38 per month per phone number. It's fantastic. We've used it for 1.5 years. I highly recommend it to anyone that is looking to create a web-based structure. If you hear that noise in the background, that's actually a client text messaging us right now. And then the last thing is to, in part of the routine, getting up and getting ready to go to work or acting as you're going to work, I personally suggest that you tend to read positive, encouraging, educational resource material. We, no matter what, are going to get deluged over the course of the next several weeks with some really tough news. Really tough news. I'm not looking forward to it. I know none of us are. What I would encourage you to do is to consider reading something that's going to lift your spirits, because your spirit does and will need lifting over the next 2 months. I can guarantee it. Consider reading some spiritual resources of your own choosing, encouraging material, educational material, business-related things to get you going in the right direction. And it doesn't have to be anything that's really structured where you have to read through an entire book in one sitting. You could go one page, one section, one chapter at a time. You can switch from book to book. I do that. I'm usually in 3 books at once. And eventually, over the course of a few months, those 3 books get finished. So consider just reading a little bit each day. And I do believe that it will help you to keep the proper mindset as you're going through these challenges that you will be facing over the next couple of months. So it's past 1 o'clock, and I try to stay with the 30-minute framework, so it's 40 minutes. We're going to close here. Let me just check the chat one more time to see if anybody had chimed in. It doesn't look like that at the moment. You guys are welcome to send me information on a particular topic that we can discuss. We got an interesting several months ahead of us, so we can fill it up with some really good, useful information that'll be beneficial for the Rockland and the communities within all throughout the next several months. So, and the bottom line is we will get through this if we stay together, and we'll make it to the other side. So we'll close here. Thank you guys. God bless you. And I'll be posting this video onto Facebook all over the place in the next hour or so. We'll talk next week. Our next meeting will be on Friday, April 2nd at 12:30 p.m. I will also provide that survey link that we had mentioned before. I'll be posting it. Let me post it in chat right now so that you have it. And I'll leave the meeting open for just a little bit longer. One moment, please. Okay, so there's your Google form right there. It's in the chat. If you'd like to click on it and open up a new window, it'll bring you to this form here. Very simply, what type of business do you own or operate? Are you currently connected remotely with your customers, and the type of service that you would like to learn more about? And Dr. O'Hara will be back next week to specifically talk about those things that you are in need of. So, okay, so it's 1:11. I'm going to stop the meeting here. Thank you again for everybody participating, and we'll see you next week on April 2nd at 12:30 in the afternoon. Take care. God bless you.